That's a great idea, Matt Barrie. So we finished up week 5, Joey. Yeah. So we've seen enough football now to kind of get an idea about what these teams are and what they do well. So here's our inaugural Who's In on college football final. Joey and I are going to rank teams 5 to 1. Joey, lead us off.
I'm going to start with the Buckeyes at number 5. They're getting a lot of love across the country right now because they blew out Nebraska. Justin Fields has been absolutely outstanding. They still lead the country in average margin of victory, just under 44, but I have them sitting at number 5.
Yeah, I got Ohio State at number 5 as well. And Justin Fields, you mentioned, he's been lights out. 23 total touchdowns, hasn't yet thrown a pick. I like the defense, too. They're not giving up explosive plays this year like they did a year ago. I just don't know if they've really been tested yet. I think Cincinnati, probably the best team they've played. They're going to have more challenges down the road. I've got the Buckeyes at 5.
Good. Who you got at 4?
4. I'm going to go with Georgia. We know about Jake Fromm. He's been in so many big games. He's won the big games in that offensive line and the running game with DeAndre Swift. Love the speed on defense. And I give him credit for that win at home against Notre Dame last week. Notre Dame, after beating Virginia, that win looks a little bit better, so I'm going Bulldog.
You're making me nervous when we're even already. I like Georgia to have the second best strength of record in the entire country. You're right. A top 10 win against Notre Dame when Notre Dame played the way they did. Georgia earns a lot of respect. They had a tough schedule coming up.
We got number 3.
At number 3, I am going to go with...
Take a pick.
I'm going to take a pick, and I can't even find one.
Is it somewhere in here?
There we go. That's a good one. Homer, give me LSU. This LSU team with Joe Burrow now is actually fun to watch on the offensive side of the ball. Joe Burrow's been as good as anyone in the country. Only question mark about LSU, their defense. And we hadn't said it in a long time.
Yeah, defense banged up. I had a feeling you were going LSU 3, so I'm going to go LSU 3 as well. Defense banged up right now. Real injured right now, especially up front on the D-line and at linebacker. Had a bye week this weekend. They need to get healthy. But they have that win on the road against Texas, which to me, if anybody on our list, is the most impressive win to date so far.
I agree with you.
Right.
You got number 2?
I got number 2. I'm going Clemson and putting them at number 2. I had them number 1 coming into this weekend. It has a little bit of to do with what we saw against UNC, but more about what we've seen through 5 weeks of the college football season. To me, not as dominant a team as they were second half of last season. Trevor Lawrence has just been a little bit off. They're not as dominant in the trenches on defense, so I've got them now number 2.
I agree with everything you just said about Clemson. I'm going Alabama number 2. And then again, these teams in the top 3 or 4 have been putting up a lot of points. Tua, Judy, Ruggs, Smith, every week. Fun to watch with the points they're putting up. They're still sitting at number 2 for me.
Okay, go ahead, put the Gators number 1.
Yeah, at number 1, I'm going with Clemson. The only question mark about Clemson, and it's just a surprise, is Trevor Lawrence has 5 interceptions, only had 4 all of last season. They haven't looked great, but you know what they are? They're defending champions, and they're undefeated. I always keep that team at number 1 until they lose.
But it's a 2019 season. It's a brand new season. Alabama, they're banged up on defense, we know. They struggled with the QB run game of Ole Miss, but Tua is lights out. 17 TDs, no picks, the best receiving group in the country. I think they could outscore anybody if they played at this point. Matt, we're going to be doing this all year.
Until here.
This is going to change a lot this season.